I was just hauling plasma coils near the asteroid belt, minding my own business, when the entire system went dark. Not just mine, every ship, station, and outpost from Mercury to Pluto lost signal at the same time. Then, the override came through. The Galactic Union's emblem burned across the screen, cold, polished, arrogant. A synthesized voice followed, layered with 10 different alien dialects and still somehow managing to sound smug. To the inhabitants of Sol 3, you have been deemed non-compliant. You have 3 solar cycles to surrender all offensive technologies, dismantle your interstellar defenses, and relinquish control of your colonies. Failure to comply will result in planetary pacification. They called it an army. 12,000 troops, hand-selected from every Union warworld. Genetic enhancements, neural combat links, Psi Division tacticians, and orbital support cruisers bristling with weapons designed to crack moons. Every other species in the galaxy had folded under the weight of them. But not us. I was still staring at the screen when the emergency channel pinged. It was from EarthGov, top clearance. I'd never seen that level of access light up before. Protocol Lone Star has been activated, it said. Simple. Cold. But my blood ran hotter than plasma when I read it. See, Protocol Lone Star wasn't a myth. It was worse, a asterisk legend star. A last resort measure, developed during the last Terran unification war. Not to defend Earth with armies, but to unleash 6 people. Not soldiers, asterisk Texan Knights star. They didn't wear medals. They didn't march in parades. But when Earth needed something done that couldn't be done, they were the call no one dared to make. And now, someone had made it. I was assigned as their chronicler. Civilian. Observer. But I had no idea I was about to ride with living legends. The first stop was a dusty patch of land outside the New Austin ecology, still one of the only places on Earth where you could smell real dirt and hear real crickets. That's where we found him, Jedediah Kane, the first night. He didn't look like much at first. Worn jeans, boots caked in red clay, a sweat-stained Stetson pulled low over his eyes. He stood over a smoker, slow-cooking brisket like it was just another Sunday. But when the transport landed, and the official stepped out with the activation orders, Jed didn't even blink. He just flipped the meat, grabbed a dirty rag to wipe his hands, and finally looked up. I told him, he said in a drawl that could split concrete, not to wake me unless it was a war. The Texan Knights weren't conventional. Their minds were wired different, part machine, part myth. Kane's body had been rebuilt after the Titan Rebellion. Reinforced bones, muscle coils, dermal armor. But the real weapon wasn't his tech, it was his code. He walked into his barn and emerged riding a beast that made every jaw drop. A 6-ton mechanical warhorse, forged from lunar steel and scrap tank plating. Its eyes burned red, its hooves slammed like thunder. Mounted on its side, a coil rifle the size of a surfboard. But in Kane's hand was something older, a carbon-forged cavalry saber passed down through generations. He mounted up, adjusted his hat, and muttered just loud enough for the wind to carry it. Time to remind the stars what Texas means. I scrambled onto the scout transport, heart hammering. We were heading off-world. I was riding behind a living legend. And somewhere out there, an alien army was waiting to learn what happens when you poke Earth, and Texas answers. The Martian dust was still red, but it didn't rise like it used to. Union ships had landed hard, baking the sand into blackened glass and leaving behind scorch marks that stretched for miles. Their encampment was precise, modular bunkers, energy shields, watchtowers humming with pulse rifles. It looked like they'd conquered the planet already. But they hadn't met Maria Valdez. We found her at the edge of Galveston Crater, perched atop a windswept mesa. Cloaked in a long duster, hat low over her eyes, she stood beside a modified railbike, its frame stripped for speed, its engine purring low like a predator waiting to pounce. Her boots were dusted in red. Her eyes, cold and still, like twin gun barrels waiting to fire. Maria was the second Knight. Former Ranger, ex-Mars Marshal, and a ghost story told in Union barracks. Her file said she once cleared a canyon outpost of 70 insurgents by herself. No backup. No drones. Just those twin rail pistols on her hips and a grudge older than the war itself. When she saw Kane ride in on his warhorse, she didn't salute. She didn't speak. She just nodded once, checked her ammo, and slid her pistols into place. The Union's first scout team never saw her coming. One moment they were scanning the ridge, next thing, rail slugs tore through their helmets with surgical precision. No wasted shots. No warning. Then the sky lit up. Maria rode down the mesa like an avalanche. Her railbike leapt over terrain like it was born for war. She drifted through plasma fire, her pistols singing death in stereo. Every bullet was a signature. Every move, a message. This wasn't just Mars anymore. This was Texas territory. And Maria Valdez. She made damn sure they knew it. Titan always felt like the edge of the universe, cold, dark, and soaked in the smell of methane and old oil. The Union thought it was abandoned. They assumed the fuel refineries had gone quiet after Earth pulled back its mining crews. What they didn't know was that someone had stayed behind. Big Hank McCulloch. I saw him before I heard him, which is saying something. He was sitting on the edge of a broken derrick, legs dangling, welding torch in one hand and a bottle of Texas bourbon in the other. His beard was streaked with silver and carbon soot, and half his jaw was metal, scarred, dented, and still chewing gum like he owned the moon. Night 3. When Kane and Maria arrived, Hank didn't stand to salute. He stood to asterisk stomp star. The entire scaffold shook. His armor wasn't sleek like the Union's. It was welded from refinery scrap and hardened under Titan's pressure. It hissed steam as he moved. Built-in generators. Hydraulic limbs. A chest plate shaped like an oil barrel with the Lone Star etched across it. "You brought a sword and pistols to a siege," he said with a grin, slamming his warhammer into the ground beside him. "I brought a damn refinery." The Union landed 3 siege walkers, 12 stories tall, railguns mounted on rotating turrets. We watched from the observation tower as Hank walked toward them alone. No comms. No plan. Just Hank. The first shot hit him square in the chest. Knocked him back 5 feet. He cracked his neck, rolled his shoulders, and kept walking. Then he ran. When that hammer came down, the ground asterisk screamed star. He shattered the first walker's leg, climbed up its smoking chassis, and crushed the cockpit like a beer can. They brought machines. We brought a asterisk man asterisk built like one. Titan never fell. Because Big Hank never let it. By the time we reached Ganymede's orbital line, the Union had begun to fracture. Not from defeat, no, not yet. But from confusion. From something they couldn't explain. Ships vanishing mid-route. Fuel lines rerouted. Entire comm chains going dark. No signs of battle. No explosions. Just silence. And behind that silence, one man. Lincoln Beauregard. Night 4. Outlaw. Card shark. Cyber saboteur. No military rank, no official record beyond a stack of redacted black files and a bounty still active in 17 systems. And yet, when Protocol Lone Star activated, he showed up wearing a snakeskin coat and a smirk that could melt steel. We didn't find him. He found asterisk us asterisk, mid-flight. 1 second, we were cruising toward a dead Union freighter. The next, our console flickered, and he was standing in the cockpit, legs crossed, sipping from a whiskey flask. I nearly jumped out of my seat. "Hope y'all don't mind, I folded their jump coordinates," he said, like he was explaining a magic trick. "Cruiser's mine now. Name's Clementine." The Clementine was an enemy ship, 3 times the size of anything Earth ever built. And Lincoln had taken it with nothing but a pack of loaded cards, a hacked poker table AI, and an EMP embedded in a bottle of Tennessee whiskey. He didn't fight wars. He gamed them. When the Union sent a diplomatic envoy to negotiate terms with Earth, Lincoln intercepted them. Rewrote their nav course. Sent them straight into a solar flare with a smiley face ASCII art looping on the screen. He was chaos in a cowboy hat, and every move he made shifted the odds in our favor. The Union believed in numbers. Lincoln made numbers asterisk lie star. And somewhere in the shadows of that stolen cruiser, he was already playing the next hand. We thought we lost him. Night 5, Hank O'Reilly, was deployed to Europa Station during a last-minute interception mission. The Union had sent a full assault wing, assuming the icy moon was vulnerable, undefended. They didn't know we had sent Hank. Or maybe they did, and still thought they had enough to bury him. For 72 hours, we heard nothing. No signals. No transmissions. Not even static. Then, without warning, Europa Station's internal surveillance feed blinked to life on every major Earth channel. No intro. No warning. Just raw footage, dark corridors lit by emergency lights, walls painted with scorch marks, and floors littered with shattered drone parts. And through it all, one man, walking. Bleeding. Limping. Laughing. Hank O'Reilly. He had activated the Alamo Protocol. An AI-linked exosuit that bonded directly with the nervous system, bypassing pain regulators and boosting adrenal output to lethal levels. No one used it. No one was supposed to. The interface burns out the user in hours. Hank lasted 3 days. He used corridor debris as improvised weapons, railguns torn from walls, power coils rigged into grenades, even a Union officer's severed mech arm retooled into a battering ram. His armor was shattered. His face was a mess of blood and smoke. But his eyes burned with something primal. He didn't fight for glory, or revenge, or pay. He fought because someone had to hold the line. When Earth Command finally re-established comms, we heard his voice, ragged, hoarse, half-laughing. "Station's clear. Y'all took your time." The feed cut out before we could reply. But Europa never fell. Because Hank O'Reilly didn't know how to. The Union called him a monster. A berserker. A madman. But to us, he was the man who stood alone in the dark, and dared it to come closer. It ended in Earth's orbit. The Union's command vessel, a dreadnought the size of a city, descended with enough firepower to turn continents into craters. Its hull shimmered with adaptive plating, flanked by a fleet of escort ships, bristling with plasma turrets and drone swarms. Their final message was brief: last chance. Kneel. Earth skies went quiet. No fleets. No countermeasures. Just 6 names still standing. And one of them had been waiting for this. Clara Rebel Monroe, Knight 6, wasn't just their commander. She was the one who'd trained the others. The architect of Protocol Lone Star. And until that day, she hadn't fired a shot. Hadn't drawn a blade. She'd stayed in the shadows, coordinating every battle, every strike, every win. But when that dreadnought crossed the thermosphere, Clara climbed into a mining vessel the size of a tugboat and gave a single order: clear me a lane. We all thought it was suicide. Her ship wasn't built for war. It had no shields, no weapons, barely any armor. Just a fusion drill and a reinforced hull meant to bore through asteroid cores. But Clara wasn't aiming to survive. She was aiming to end its star. She used the orbital debris fields for cover. Slingshot past Union escorts. Took out a drone wing by venting the ship's fuel cells in a flaming spiral. Every move, surgical. Every second, intentional. The dreadnought opened fire, missed. Again. And again. Because she wasn't attacking from outside. She punched through the hull. We lost signal for almost 5 minutes. 5 long, breathless minutes. Then came the explosion. The dreadnought tore itself apart from the inside, breaking into fire and silence. Clara's escape pod fell through Earth's clouds minutes later, smoking, cracked, and whole. They sent an army. We sent 6. Guess who won?